She looked good on both ends. That was all Coach Kara Lawson said after watching Caitlin Clark's first practice with the USA Basketball Senior Women's National Team. Simple.com, almost understated. But anyone who actually watched that practice knew immediately. Those words barely scratched the surface of what really happened inside that gym, because Caitlin Clark didn't just look good, she walked into Team USA camp and reminded everyone exactly who she is. After months of silence, doubt, and whispers fueled by injuries, Clark stepped back onto the floor with a confidence that felt almost surreal. No hesitation, no visible rust, just control, pace, and that unmistakable presence that changes the temperature of the room the second she touches the ball. You could feel it. Coaches felt it. Players felt it. Cameras felt it. Sue Bird, watching from the sidelines as managing director, couldn't hide her reaction. Every time Clark pushed the tempo, knocked down a deep three, or connected with Aaliyah Boston like they'd never been apart, Bird's expression said it all. This wasn't just a player working her way back. This was a leader reclaiming her place. The chemistry between Clark and Boston was immediate, almost unfair. Passes landed exactly where they needed to. Timing felt effortless. It didn't look like two players trying to impress coaches. It looked like a starting unit already forming in real time. The kind of connection that screams trust, rhythm, and experience. And that's when it became clear. This wasn't just about making the roster. This was about Caitlin Clark announcing, without saying a word, that she's healthy, she's ready, and she's not here to blend in. She's here to lead. After an injury-plagued season that kept her sidelined and questioned, this practice felt like a statement. Not loud, not arrogant, just undeniable. Team USA didn't just see Caitlin Clark return to the court. They watched the future walk back in. Before this moment, before the smiles and the smooth jumpers at Team USA camp, Caitlin Clark went through the hardest stretch of her young career. And it wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, frustrating, isolating in a way only injured athletes truly understand. Just 1 year earlier, Clark was rewriting history. Her rookie season didn't just turn heads, it shattered expectations. 62 records fell. 62. Triple-doubles, logo threes, late-game heroics, packed arenas everywhere she went. She didn't just play in the WNBA, she flipped the entire league upside down. Every night felt historic. Then everything stopped. Her sophomore season became a cycle of hope and heartbreak. One injury, then another. She would start to feel better, only for something else to flare up. Progress never came clean. It came in pieces, constantly interrupted. Clark later explained it perfectly, saying it felt like things would improve just enough to believe again, then suddenly get worse. Anyone who has ever been hurt knows that feeling. Your body betrays you, and your confidence goes with it. She managed just 13 games that entire season. 13. After a rookie year that felt unstoppable, she was suddenly watching more than playing. Rehab rooms replaced game nights. Training tables replaced highlight reels. And the hardest part wasn't the pain, it was the uncertainty. Not knowing when you'll feel like yourself again, not knowing if your body will respond the same way it used to. The basketball world started whispering. Could she come back the same? Was the rookie season a perfect storm that would never return? Would the injuries keep piling up? Those questions followed her everywhere, even when no one said them out loud. Clark stayed grounded through it all. She thanked the training staff, the player development team, the people who never stopped investing in her, even when she couldn't play. She admitted that it wasn't about proving anything to anyone else anymore. It was about that feeling, the feeling of moving freely, of trusting her body again, of smiling on the court without forcing it. And that's why Team USA camp mattered so much. It wasn't just a return, it was a test. 5 months away from competitive basketball. 5 months of doubt, rehab, patience, and quiet work. When Caitlin Clark walked into that gym, she wasn't just fighting for a roster spot. She was fighting to feel like herself again. And that made what came next even more powerful. When Caitlin Clark walked into Team USA camp, the weight of the moment was impossible to ignore. This wasn't a casual run. This wasn't just another practice. She hadn't played competitive basketball in nearly 5 months, and now she was stepping into one of the most intense environments in the sport. Every coach was watching, every analyst was waiting, every camera was locked in. This was her audition, not just for a roster spot, but for the future of Team USA basketball. The stakes were enormous. The 2026 World Cup, the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. A new Olympic cycle was beginning, and Clark knew exactly what that meant. This camp would shape perceptions for years. One slow step, one moment of hesitation, and the doubts would explode. But the pressure didn't break her. If anything, it sharpened her focus. She admitted later that she felt nervous at first. Anyone would. But the moment she touched the ball during warm-ups, everything changed. The nerves faded. The rhythm returned. The game slowed down. It was like muscle memory took over, reminding her who she had always been. Being injured is isolating. You're around the team, but not really part of it. You're fighting battles no one sees. Clark understood that deeply. That's why this practice mattered so much. It wasn't about forcing shots or proving toughness. It was about movement, flow, trusting her body again without fear. And then it happened. The first real burst. The first confident pull-up. The first pass delivered perfectly in stride. Each possession felt like a layer of doubt peeling away. She wasn't just surviving the pace. She was controlling it. Coaches started leaning in. Teammates started responding. The gym energy shifted. Clark declared she was 100% healthy. But words are easy. What mattered was how she moved, how she cut, how she accelerated. And with every possession, it became harder to argue with what everyone was seeing. This wasn't rust being shaken off. This was Caitlin. Clark stepping back into her element, reminding the room that time away hadn't taken her edge. If anything, it had sharpened it. And that set the stage for what would happen next. By the second practice, something subtle but important began to happen inside Team USA camp. Caitlin Clark was no longer being evaluated like a question mark. She was being treated like a piece, a real one. Coaches stopped watching her to see. She could keep up and started watching. How others moved around her, that shift matters more than any stat line. Kara Lawson stayed measured in public. But inside the gym, her body language told a deeper story. When Clark initiated offense, the floor opened. Spacing improved. Cuts became sharper. Players reacted instinctively because they trusted the pass would arrive on time. That is not something you fake. That is respect. Veterans noticed too. There was no eye-rolling, no subtle hierarchy flexing. Instead, there was engagement, communication, small nods after plays. The kind of nonverbal language that says, "You belong here." That acceptance does not come from hype. It comes from competence. Clark did not dominate the ball. That was the key. She played within the system, moved without it, defended with intent, and showed patience. It was maturity on display. The coaches saw a player who understood that this environment is not about highlights. It is about reliability. And then came the moment that sealed it for many observers. A late practice sequence where Clark orchestrated 3 straight possessions, calling out sets, adjusting spacing, and calmly guiding teammates through reads. No rushing, no forcing, just command. That is when the evaluation truly changed. She was no longer competing for a spot. She was competing for responsibility. Team USA is built on trust. Coaches need players who can handle chaos, pressure, and expectation without losing composure. Clark showed all 3. The camp had not ended yet, but the tone was clear. Caitlin. Clark was no longer knocking on the door. She was already inside the room. Team USA camps are never just about the present. Every drill, every scrimmage, every decision is layered with future implications. Caitlin Clark understood that better than most. This was not only about making a roster. It was about positioning herself in the next era of USA basketball. The 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Olympics are not far away. With legends aging out and roles shifting, the program is actively searching for its next core. Clark fits that timeline perfectly. Young enough to grow, experienced enough to lead, popular enough to carry the sport globally. What makes her case even stronger is how she fits stylistically. International basketball values, spacing, shooting, and decision-making. Clark's range stretches defenses beyond comfort. Her passing punishes over helping. Her IQ thrives in structured systems. This is not just a scorer. This is a system amplifier. Coaches also recognize market reality. The WNBA and USA basketball are experiencing unprecedented attention. Clark brings eyeballs, but more importantly, she keeps them. Fans tune in to watch her think the game, not just shoot it. That matters on the Olympic stage. Still, nothing is handed out. Team USA does not reward popularity. It rewards consistency. Clark knows that. She does not speak like someone chasing validation. She speaks like someone building longevity. Her calm confidence reflects that. She is not asking to be the face of anything. She is earning it possession by possession, practice by practice. This camp was one chapter, not the conclusion. Caitlin Clark is no longer a future consideration. She is part of the plan. Everyone talks about physical recovery, rehab timelines, conditioning, load management. But what Caitlin Clark went through was just as much mental as it was physical. And that is where her return becomes even more impressive. Being injured strips athletes of control. You train, but you do not compete. You prepare, but you do not perform. Doubt creeps in quietly. Clark admitted that some days were harder than others. Progress was not linear. Some days felt hopeful. Others felt discouraging. What carried her through was discipline. She did not rush the process. She did not chase shortcuts. She focused on small wins. Movement quality, strength balance, confidence rebuilding. That patience shows now. Her movements look free, not forced. Her decisions look calm, not rushed. Mental toughness reveals itself under pressure. At camp, Clark did not force moments to prove she was back. She trusted the game to come to her. That restraint signals maturity. It tells coaches she can handle Olympic pressure without unraveling. Many players come back from injury physically ready, but mentally hesitant. Clark looks neither. She plays with clarity, with joy, with purpose. That is why this return resonates so strongly. It is not just about talent resurfacing. It is about resilience shaping a smarter, stronger version of the same player. The media noticed immediately. Headlines changed tone. Analysts adjusted language. Where there had been caution, there was now confidence. Where there had been uncertainty, there was excitement. Caitlin Clark's presence at camp reframed the conversation. Instead of asking if she could return to form, people began asking how big her role would be. That shift matters. It reflects trust, reflects belief. Fans responded the same way. Clips circulated, quotes spread. The narrative turned positive, not exaggerated, just grounded optimism. Clark did not feed the hype. Her interviews stayed measured, focused on team goals, gratitude, process. That authenticity strengthened her credibility even more. Public perception is fragile. One wrong moment can undo progress. Clark understands that. She stays centered. That composure is why people trust her. The story is no longer about recovery. It is about readiness. Caitlin Clark's strong showing at Team USA camp does not exist in isolation. It sends a message to the entire WNBA. 2 franchises, 2 teammates. To future opponents, she is back. That changes scouting reports, defensive schemes, marketing plans. Everything teams know what she can do when healthy. They have seen it before. Now they know that injuries did not take that away. If anything, they refined her. Her return also lifts the league. Stars matter. Availability matters. Momentum matters. Clark's presence elevates national attention and competitive intensity. The WNBA thrives when its best players are visible and confident. Clark contributes to that ecosystem naturally. She does not demand spotlight. She attracts it. This camp reinforced her value not just as a player, but as a stabilizing force in women's basketball. Great careers are not defined by uninterrupted dominance. They are defined by response. How players react when things go wrong, when momentum breaks, when doubt enters. This moment matters for Caitlin Clark's legacy, not because it was flashy, but because it was honest. She came back prepared, patient, focused. She respected the process and the people around her. Years from now, this camp will be remembered as a turning point. The moment when questions turned into confidence again. Legacy is not built overnight. It is built when you show up ready after being counted out. Nothing is guaranteed. Rosters change, roles evolve, competition remains fierce. Caitlin Clark knows all of that. But what she accomplished at Team USA camp was essential. She reintroduced herself to the game on her terms. Healthy, confident, composed. Whatever comes next. Whether it is World Cups, Olympics, or WNBA milestones, this moment stands as proof. Proof that setbacks did not define her, did not rush her. Returned, she earned it, and the basketball world is watching what she does next.